Welcome everyone to the PJScast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good co-hosts Schmitty and Reagan. It's been a while. Jimmy isn't here with us today, which sucks because I wanted to start off the podcast by making a joke about, we're going to talk about a Toronto sports team, and reality we're actually going to talk about my Blue Jays and how they signed Kevin Kiermaier, but unfortunately I can't really go far with that joke, so...
Still good. I mean, Blue Jays finally made a move.
Yeah, he finally did something. Holy, this MLB offseason has been super crazy to follow.
I barely kept up with
it. $400 million, or they have a $400 million payroll. It's ridiculous. DeGrom left, and it's all right, we'll get Verlander, we'll get pretty much everyone else. We'll re-sign Nemo. I'm pretty sure they I'm blanking on whatever other signings and stuff they've done, but they've done a lot. Then the Phillies were we're gonna give $300 million to Trey Turner, and then San Diego gave $300 million to Xander Bogaerts. It's crazy. I've been this past month, I honestly have not paid much attention to hockey outside of checking just the scores and the Blackhawks games. I've been playing so much MLB The Show franchise mode, just getting to learn all the players and stuff, all the teams and kind of their systems and the rules and all that stuff. So it's been entertaining to watch, and it's literally a different ball game. Looking at all these crazy contracts. And have the White Sox done anything yet?
Not a damn thing. They signed a really bad pitcher, and they're probably going to sign a 40-year-old DH, which they don't need.
Oh, then they signed what's his name from San Diego, Mike Clevenger.
Yeah, he's not good. Trust me, there's nothing noteworthy that the Sox have done this offseason, and that's pretty on par with how the Sox usually do stuff because they're pretty cheap. Reisendorf's gotta hate them. Not even gonna sarcastically say that about him.
Yeah, I was gonna say isn't he the owner of the? Let's not open that can of worms. But the Blue Jays, the only two moves they made, they are kind of significant. They traded Teoscar Hernandez to Seattle, which I mean, fine, you move him, but you traded him to the team that beat you last year, and I imagine they're gonna be, even though they're not in the same division, there's a good chance they face each other again. And they did sign Kiermaier, great defensive player from what I've seen, a Golden Glove winner, but not going to provide effective offense. Yeah, cannot hit. They do need left-handed hitters, which he is, but he's not
really a hitter if he doesn't hit.
He's supposed to be, from what I saw, the fourth outfielder because they still have Gurriel Jr., they still have Springer, obviously, and I think Merrifield might go into right field. And there's a good shot. They have so many catchers. They have Kirk, Jansen, and Marino, and I imagine they're going to trade one of those to maybe get an outfielder or maybe even get a starting pitcher. They're really the only elite starting pitcher out there that's still out there is Carlos Rodon, and I don't think he's going to go to Toronto. And that's definitely a thing in baseball where Toronto, the only Canadian team. I saw the star Verlander was pretty close to signing with the Blue Jays last year, but probably made the right choice on account of he won the World Series and was a Cy Young winner. But no, I'm really curious to see what the Blue Jays do, because from what I saw, they signed, I think, Springer in January. Usually they make, from what I saw, they make their moves later on in the off season. So, and I would like to see them add some more outfield depth. From what I saw, Michael Brantley, they might be looking at, and maybe just kind of another starting pitcher to help out Manoah and Gossman. But I'm actually really excited for the baseball season to start. I'm really excited to see the Blue Jays for a full year because they have an exciting young team, and I want to see Guerrero Jr. have a bit of a bounce back year. I still think he was great last year, but that year before where he had almost 50 home runs, you want to see him get to that level again. And Alek Manoah was a Cy Young candidate. I'm excited to watch the Blue Jays, but they definitely got some moves to make, especially if they're going to be competing with the Astros. But I mean, which team in the AL can really compete with the Astros right now? But
and then they got the rich get richer. It's just the way it is in baseball.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's all I really have to say about baseball. It's been fun following the off season, and I got kind of on that note, like kind of just on the topic of like all these big contracts. I like pulled up the like a Wikipedia page of like the largest contracts in sport, like all sports, like across the world. So I include soccer and like most of like the and that are in the top 50. It's like all baseball players.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mike Trout, yeah, Mike Trout has like a 12-year deal. He signed $426.5 million, and he makes like a little over $35 million a year. Mookie Betts is at number 5. He makes like $30.4 million a year. Aaron Judge signed that big contract. Which, by the way, that's boring. I wish Judge would have gone to like San Diego or somewhere else. But yeah, he signed for $40 million per year. Francisco Lindor with the Mets. Same with Tatis Jr. and the Padres. Harper signed that big contract with the Phillies, and then basically like the top 15 is just all baseball players, and most of them are recently. So it's pretty crazy. But anyways, let's talk about the Blackhawks. Remember when we started the season, they were like 4-2-0, and we're like, are they good enough? Maybe not that bad. Are they not bad enough to tank? And
they're bad enough.
A couple months later,
okay, they are riding a third string goalie. I will say that much before we get into it. Like, no Stalock for like a month and a half. Like, Barazic's been in and out of the lineup. Like, it's gonna be. I don't know. I'm like, they're losing a lot, but I'm okay with it
right now. Like, I really hope they find like another goalie, because you can only do this so much long for Soderblom before they just kills his confidence, because they're really getting shelled as of late. So.
He's playing so well too. That's the problem. Like they're only losing like 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, stuff like that, because he's keeping them in games every night. And even the nights when he lets up 5, like he let up 5 to Edmonton, and it's like, what do you expect? They're letting up 2-on-1s to McDavid and Draisaitl. Like he's not going to save everything, but he's probably the brightest spot of this season outside of like maybe Max Domi. He's had a really good year. Like he's quietly got 19 points in 25 games and 10 goals. Like that's a great start to the year for Domi. But Soderblom's definitely the most positive story on the team right now, considering they've lost like 17 of their last 20 or something.
Yeah,
it feels like.
A little rough.
Yeah, but like we expected this, and if we're being honest, it's probably for the better, because like we're second last right now, and if you finish second last, the lowest you can fall is 4, if I think so.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be in good shape to get, like, even if you don't get number 1 and get Connor Bedard, you're gonna be set up to get one of the top 4, one of the cream of the crop of this draft, and that's kind of what this team needs right now. Like, yeah, you'll get a pick in the 20s from Tampa. Your second's gonna be good, but like, it's a tough pill to swallow. But this is kind of what we expected from the season. I don't know. Like, it's not that's.
This is what the franchise needed.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's not a bunch of ass kickings. Like, they don't get shelled every night. You know what I mean? Like, they keep it competitive for as much as for the skill that they have. It's just there is a legitimate skill gap when they play good teams.
No, it's not there.
Yeah, like Winnipeg is like, I was talking to my dad when we were watching the Winnipeg game. I was like, this is not the team. Like it's like the worst team they could match up against. Like they'll match up well against teams like
them in like the 3 meetings, whatever it's been.
They've let up like 17 goals or something. Or no. They've let up like 14 goals in like 3 meetings, which is just crazy.
I'm surprised isn't more, honestly.
Right. They dropped a 7 bomb, a 5 bomb, and then it's probably more actually. It's probably like 15. Whatever. Yeah. But like, I don't know. Team's fine. Like at this point, it just comes down to, are they going to waive? Like, is Taves and Kane going to waive their contracts?
That's really the big question now, because like, and we've been saying this, like it's a day-to-day process. Like just at the beginning of the season for us, it's just like, oh, enjoy the wins, and will they come in, because it's going to be a long season. And now we're kind of getting to that like lull in kind of in December, January, where things kind of seem to take forever. Like that initial excitement of the season starting is gone. But then like once February, March hits, that's really where we're going to start seeing like all the rumors of, oh, is Kane going to waive? Oh, is Taves going to waive? So we're not. It's only going to be a few months. Like, it does seem like a while for now, but it's going to fly by to that, and those questions are eventually going to be answered.
And even if they don't waive, I really do think this team has some legitimate options for like deadline selling. Like, obviously there's the Domies and the Athanasius, and like Jack Johnson will probably get moved because, you know, someone will take a depth defenseman. But like another guy who like might go under the radar if they want to move like someone to get actual picks. Like Taylor Radish is having a very good year, and he's on a very good contract, and you could definitely get a return for him.
The guy they got
like $700,000.
Yeah, the guy they got from the Brandon Hagen deal, and they're gonna try to get like another deal out of it.
You could. I mean, like you got to get as many assets in that prospect pool as possible, and you want to get some legitimate picks. Like if Taves and Kane don't waive, you got to start thinking about stuff like that. Because like I think Domi could get you a 1. Like I think that like the way he's playing right now,
that's definitely on the table. I think
exactly. Like if he's at like a 60-point pace and he's over 50% in the faceoff dot, he's gonna get a nice return. People will trade for Athanasiou. You want that kind of speed on your wings, like bottom 6.
You'll probably get a second or third for Athanasiou, I think.
Yeah, like a third or something, which is fine. That's like that they knew what they signed up for, and honestly, they proved to the rest of the league that they could still be middle 6, top 6 contributors, especially in Domi's case.
Yeah.
Yeah, but besides that, it's just like a band of misfit toys. It's kind of Mitchell and Caleb Jones have had some flashes offensively. That is.
But I thought you were going to bring up like McCabe and Murphy as potential options because I wonder if like again these are guys that are in their late 20s. By the time this team is good, they're probably going to be in their early to mid 30s. Like Seth Jones, like he's in that same boat. He's a bit younger, but he's going to be here for the rebuild one because he's got a no movement clause, and I just don't think anyone is going to take that contract on. And just like looking at like the contract situation for the future, you kind of are going to need that contract for a bit, at least for a few years, definitely. So might as well just keep Jones, like name him the captain, like again, let him be our Eric Johnson. But McCabe and Murphy are intriguing because there are teams that these aren't top pairing guys, but these are definitely guys that can play on your second pairing and they can net a decent return. Like I've actually really been impressed with McCabe, especially with the injury issues he's had. Like when he's that's always the key. When he's healthy, he's looked good, and I've like the way game he's played, he's defended well, and you see the kind of those flashes where he jumps in the rush and shows a bit of offense as well. So I wonder if those are potentially guys that the Blackhawks look at moving again if you get the return. It's always about the return, but I wonder if those are kind of some players that maybe get a bit of a discussion, or maybe that's more of an off-season thing.
Yeah, I don't they have trade protection too? Like I know Murphy's got like
I know for a fact Murphy has like I don't think any of them have no movement clauses, but I think they have some kind of like modified no trade clause.
I know McCabe's got a 7-team, and people think it's all Canada, which is funny to me. But they could actually, like you said, like they have terms, so you could probably get a legitimate return for them. And that might not be a move that happens this offseason, though. It might be next offseason when like some of the kids are ready to come up on the back end and they need to clear some roster spots.
And hey, like and we talk about this. It's not all doom and gloom, but like, yeah, we might have to move McCabe because maybe someone like Isaac Phillips comes up and kind of takes that spot. Like maybe Kevin Korchinski surprises us and like the left side of their defense in particular, like especially with their prospects, it's set for the future. And then you kind of look at the right side. If they just keep Jones and Murphy, like you're good. You can see where Mitchell is at, if he stays on the team, if they keep him or not. Like it allows Sam Renzel to develop. Like it's not all doom and gloom. Like most of what the Blackhawks prospects are doing has been pretty like what's the right word, but like you can be quite optimistic about what they're doing. Like Kevin Korchinski, from what I've seen, he's pretty much a lock to make a very stacked Team Canada World Junior roster. Like Ryan Green, like they have five Blackhawks are on the Canadian roster, like the whatever it's called, like the camp roster. Like they have 3 defensemen, Korchinski, Allen, and Delmastrom. From what I've seen, those 3 defensemen are pretty much a lock to play for that team. And then Ryan Green and Colton Dock, they're kind of more of long shots. But when's the last time we've seen that? Like there's so much, I feel like so much to be optimistic about. And like Frank Nazar still hasn't played. You gotta play the long game with that. Just make sure he gets healthy and make sure that he's good to go for next year if he doesn't play the rest of the season, because I don't know if he is. But and again, like they're gonna probably get a top 5 pick, and even if they don't get first or even second overall, like there's a good chance they get like a Matt Mitchkov or Leo Carlson, because I feel like there is a bit of a cutoff after 4, but like this they're gonna get some good players, and we have that to look forward to at least. It's just really what happens in the next few months. Like, are Taves and Kane gonna stay? But that's gonna be the ultimate.
Should I stay or should I go? That's literally what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. And I think Kane, I think I've said this before, but I think Kane is more likely to stay. But if they do decide to move him, it'll be easier to move him. Jonathan Taves is definitely the more interesting one because he has a lot more to prove. And if you do move him, like, are there teams that are going to want to take on that contract? So Kane, I won't be surprised if he stays or even if he goes. It's just like Taves. That's the one to really keep an eye on for me at least.
I really think Taves, if he wants to get moved, someone's gonna take him. I'm sorry. Like, if there's a way, like we've seen how you can finagle.
They're a bunch of Mark Donks and butts flipping.
Winnipeg, Toronto, all these teams could use Taves right now. Like Florida, even you could put him on any one of those teams and it would help. New York would be another one. Both of them, for being honest. Glue Taves on the third line center on any of those teams. Carolina, even trust me, there's going to be spots for Taves to go if he wants to move.
Get desperate. Tampa Bay paid 2 first-round picks for Brian Hagel, albeit
they paid a first for Barclay Goodrow.
Yeah, they're the Tampa Bay Lightning, but they're doing anything it takes to win. And if you're a team that's looking at especially Colorado, they want to go for that repeat. That's definitely a team that could get Taves.
Andy Green got traded for 2 seconds once upon a time. Trust me, something crazy could happen. So,
well, no, it's really other than that, that stuff. I haven't really been paying much attention to hockey. Just
neither.
My life has been so busy, and I imagine you guys got stuff going on, but and it's always that time of year, that December, January thing. It's just kind of a malaise, a lull, and it's just ugh. And those first kind of couple months have worn off, but once you kind of get to, I feel February, March, after that All-Star break, it's oh shit, that's when things kind of start to matter. There's no more playing around, there's no more of this All-Star stuff. Then we kind of start seeing the trade rumors trickle out, and then after that, it's who's gonna make the playoffs, and then of course it's the Stanley Cup playoffs, and then draft and yada yada so on. But yeah, that's kind of why, just life and all that, and those factors are kind of why we haven't done the podcast for the past couple weeks or so. So, yeah, I don't really know what much else there is to say about the Blackhawks. I can't really see negative things. We all expected this was going to happen. I don't know if you guys have any more closing thoughts on that, but
no, not really.
Yeah. They suck, but not much else.
They suck on purpose. They don't suck on accident.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It would be one thing if we did it last year, where it was we expected at least some improvement, and they stuck. It's one thing to be in a position like Columbus is in, and then there's one thing to be in a position like we're in, or even Anaheim, because Anaheim bought. They bought in the offseason and stuff.
And that's not working out right now.
No. I'd much rather be in a position that we're in where it's all right, well, the writing was on the wall of what the season was going to be, plain and simple. Now, if they stink again next year, stink next year, I might have a problem with that. Unless, nothing is there again. But I just don't think you could do this approach 2 seasons in a row. This is the only season you should be scorched earth, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see. That's about all we could say about them now. Just keep stacking up the L's and not looking like actual dog crap.
Yeah, stack up the L's, get the draft picks and prospects in there. And
Bedard's on a 30-game point streak.
Who is?
Bedard's on a 30-game point streak or something.
I'm who's on a 30-game point? I'm are we talking about Mitch Marner?
I mean, Mitch Marner will be in a month if he keeps up what he's doing, but I don't know.
Yeah, Connor Bedard, that fella's pretty good. Adam Fantilli, I really thought at the beginning of the year Connor Bedard is the clear-cut number 1. I still kind of think he is, but Fantilli is definitely making it interesting, and I can't wait to see where that's at in a few months, because he's legitimately putting together one of the best NCAA seasons ever.
For a freshman,
Jack Eichel in 2015, and I think Paul Kariya back in the 90s. That's some pretty decent
elite company.
Yeah. Like he's probably playing better than what Jonathan Taves did in his first year of college. And that, like, Jonathan Taves came in second year.
North Dakota.
He was just a pro, like already a pro. Like he was built like one, and he played like had the 2-way game like that one face-offs as well. And I think Adam Fantilli can kind of be in that similar mold. And if the Blackhawks get a top 4 pick, like if Leo Carlson falls to them at number 4, nice you pick them. But like if Matvey Michkov drops to number 4, I just feel that you're at that point where there's a bit of a gap between the next prospect where you kind of should take that chance. But either way, they're gonna get a good player. They're gonna have that second first-round pick. They're gonna get another good player. Like the Blackhawks need 4 prospects. This is definitely the draft to get them, especially when you got 3 picks, or 6 picks.
They're gonna have 3 picks in the top 35, basically.
And that's right now. Like they're probably gonna add another couple before the.
So you got to make them count.
Mm-hmm. Even if really all you need is just those first-round picks to hit, and if you can get like those second-round, third guys just to kind of be depth contributors, then sometimes that's all you can ask for. But they really got to hit on the top end, and that was kind of the same thing with last year's draft. Like obviously Nazar is injured, but there's still the talent there, and Korchinski has fit the part of a 7th overall pick, definitely. Anyways, enough about the Blackhawks. I want to talk about the Edmonton Oilers because I think the last time we were on the podcast, like they were kind of just meh. They're having another middling start, but they're kind of starting to come on. But that's not really even the most interesting story to come out of Edmonton. Did you see the Jesse Puljujarvi comments where he's just like, I feel like I don't belong here. It's so difficult to see. And there's definitely, I cannot stand the media at Edmonton. There's definitely been like I'm probably even being kind here, where they're just like saying he doesn't fit here. Like he needs to be traded. Like this has been going on for a while. And I'm just getting sick and tired of it. And you see like Mark Spector like tweeting us, it's like, oh, Jesse Puljujarvi said this. I'm like, yeah, no shit. You guys treat him horribly. And I don't know. And I see like the other comments. It's like, they didn't talk to Yuri Curry and players like that in the 1980s. Yeah, because they were winning freaking a Stanley Cup every year. They had like 5 Stanley Cups. Now that they're not doing well, like you're treating players like Jesse Puljujarvi like this. It's sad to see. And then Elliot Friedman goes on and says that he's probably going to get traded, and the Oilers are kind of looking to see what they can get. So, I mean, I'm glad that the Oilers are winning, but it sucks to see that from Jesse Puljujarvi. And I also just hate Edmonton.
That relationship was never going to work in hindsight. It didn't work as soon as Ken Holland got there. They mended that bridge for maybe a season and a half, but like they didn't get along from the jump. And the GM's going to win that every time over the player. Unless the player puts up like McDavid numbers, then the player's going to win. But hopefully he can get a fresh start somewhere. Like I'd like to see him in like a Dallas or Carolina or something.
Dallas with all those fans they got, yeah, make them feel.
Yeah, and Carolina's got a bunch of them too. So just somewhere where he could get the minutes he needs and gets the power play time he needs and get put in the spots where he could actually produce. And teams will give up something for him. Not a lot, but
not a ton, but they will give up something.
I mean, but the problem is the winger market seems kind of heavy. Like if Brock Besser's going to get flipped for like a 4th and a 5th or whatever.
Oh my God, I saw that. I was like, because it was that Borkstrand trade where you got like a 3rd and a 4th, and you're like, what the hell? That's it, really? And then there's that comment. It's like, oh, they might get it might be similar to the Brock Besser trade might be similar to the Borkstrand trade. And I'm like, what, a 3rd and a 4th for Brock Besser? Really? That's it. Oh, that's rough.
Literally,
and Jesse Puljujarvi, like it's just you look at his advanced stats, like they're so good, and he doesn't really finish up to him. I don't know if he's ever going to be like a great finisher, no pun intended, but like you see players around the league where it's like they have great defensive stats and like they're always driving play but just never scored. I don't think like Puljujarvi is probably going to be that kind of player, more in your middle 6, but like he's still a guy that can play. And I remember just listening to the Steve Dangle podcast and like, what if he goes to Montreal and like Marty St. Louis can like get to him kind of how he did with Kirby Dach. And I thought that was interesting, but I just hope Puljujarvi finds a home, because from what I see, most Oilers fans do respect like Puljujarvi, like the ones that like actually look at Alex and stuff, but like the media and whatnot just treat him terribly, and I'm assuming that front office does as well. So I just kind of wanted to rant on that, but and it's also nice that the Oilers are winning games because Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are the two best players in the world. Like I feel we don't talk enough how good McDavid is. I feel I bring that up every show, but that's just
he's 2 points a game right now. Dude, he leads the league in goals, points, assists, and he's second in power play goals. It's fucking stupid. Like
I feel we can't like wrap our heads around that, so that's why we can't like truly appreciate.
We haven't seen scoring like this since the 80s, literally. No. Like when Crosby and Ovechkin and all them, they were only getting like 110. They weren't jumping out the gate like McDavid and Draisaitl are this year. And it's not even just them. Fucking Jason Robertson's got 42 points and he's second in goals. Tage Thompson
is fourth in points. That's ridiculous. God.
David Pasternak's having a fucking great year in a contract year.
And people like Crosby is still getting
Crosby's still amazing. He had 3 points last night.
Crosby's
oh my god.
Like
yeah, I don't know how Crosby became underrated again. Like, this is insane. He is not, with all the injuries he's had. Like, he had a hernia last year, a sports hernia. Has to skip the beat. Like, he's incredible.
From what I saw, he's like on pace for his second highest like amount in career goals in his career, and then like second in points as well. Like, it's crazy. And this is a guy that's won like plenty Art Rosses, and I believe has won a Rocket as well. Like, he's a 50-goal scorer. That I do know.
He's got enough hardware to fill like 2 rooms. Like, it's crazy.
He's won everything that there is to win
multiple times, which is what's even crazier. Like, most guys are like, oh yeah, we've won. Like, I got a gold medal, I got a Stanley Cup. Like, no, he's got like 2 gold medals, 3 Stanley Cups, got a World Cup of Hockey gold. Like,
yeah,
jeez,
he has at least a few hearts, like a few Art
Rocket. I'm surprised he doesn't have a Selke. Like, I'm surprised he hasn't thrown that into his arsenal. He was a finalist one year though. So
was he?
I want to say a couple years ago he was finalist.
He's definitely improved his defensive game to a point where it's like you can have them, and that's a consideration. But that's what makes the great players so great. Like Crosby coming in the league, obviously, like this has been a guy that's been touted since he was 13 years old. Like he's been in the limelight like as long as I've been alive. Like we've been alive, and he comes in the league. I think he finished runner up to Ovechkin in the Calder Trophy voting, and it's just like, oh, well, he's too much of a crybaby, baby. He doesn't play defense, and then like his like face-offs go up, and it's like, oh, but he doesn't shoot enough. He's more of a playmaker, scores 50 goals, and it's like, oh, he's not well-rounded. He can't win those big games. He's more of a one-hit wonder with the Stanley Cup, and then they went back-to-back. Like every time someone doubts Sidney Crosby, he just rises to the occasion, and that's what makes not only like the great hockey players great, but like the great athletes great. Is no matter how much you doubt them, they're always gonna prove you wrong because they're just so special and talented, and that's Sidney Crosby to a T there. What do we say about Crosby? The best grinder in hockey history. And it's true.
Exactly. No one, like I was talking to like my dad about this. It's like you see defensemen shit themselves when McDavid's coming up the wing. As soon as that puck goes to the corner, defensemen shit themselves when they see Crosby. Because it's like, you're never getting that puck. You're never getting that puck. I don't care if you put 3 people on it. You're not getting that puck.
Yeah. Do you remember that clip where he's behind the net? I think it was against Ottawa Senators in the playoffs, and he is just like going back and forth with Jason Spezza. It must have gone on for a minute. Then he passes the puck, and like they score. I think the Penguins go ahead with like a few minutes left, and then they win that game. Like,
Crosby had like a statement goal last night. Like, up 2-1, just gets
when they're on the top
chip
of the
pass.
game, it's like impossible to stop them, and it's like, and it makes you wonder, like all those years, like the Penguins had those disappointing exits. It's like they could have won more than 3 Stanley Cups, honestly.
Right. It's like they had such a bad stint for like 5 years, like 2010,
between like 2010 and like 2015, like that was rough. Like I think they lost to the Habs in 2010. I mean, whatever, they won the cup the previous year. Then like 2011, I think they blew a 3-1 series lead to Tampa. 2012 is like kind of the one where it's like, oh, are they going to be able to do this anymore? Because they had that just embarrassing loss to Philadelphia, and like it would have been different if they like play like a hard fought games, like 7-game series, but like Philadelphia like knocked them like I don't know what the right word is, but like they completely like knocked them off their play and didn't make them focus.
And rattled their game.
2013, they just got absolutely curb stomped by the Bruins in the conference final. It's like, oh geez. And then I think they blew another 3-1 lead to the Rangers, and then they lost the Rangers. And then I remember, I think it was the start of the 15-16 year. It was like they had a really rough start, but then they fire their head coach. Mike Sullivan comes in. They're like the hottest team down the stretch, and they like easily cruise to the cup. Like they were so top. Like as much as I like hate the Penguins, like the Penguins have kind of reached that stats for me. It's like, God damn it, I hate you so much, but I respect you. Like that 2016 Penguin team was actually so much fun to watch because they were just so quick and dominant. It's a lot
Dude, they
of fun.
won a cup without Letang. Like,
dude, they won a Stanley Cup.
Top pairing Ron Hainsey.
Let's go. Yeah.
Jesus, like I don't know how that team. They were just so dominant, and like
it's
the emergence of Gensel has been so huge for that team.
For the
like,
Penguins, they won that year. Like that's impressive that they won back-to-back cups like that. But like that's a crime to the other teams that couldn't beat the Penguins. Like the Capitals that year, 2017, they should have beaten the Penguins. It was all Marc-Andre Fleury.
Ottawa was a goal away.
Ottawa was a goal away, and then Nashville was like Ryan Johansson away and Whistle away.
They had another top two centers.
And Pekka Rinne not shitting the bed.
Yeah, Pekka Rinne finally getting off his Linsanity run, game one of the final. Jesus. Like, literally was the best goalie I've ever seen in the playoffs up until the Stanley Cup final.
Slam the door shut, and then he, like, let in, like, 5 goals on, like, 10 shots.
God! He didn't face a shot for 20 minutes, and the first shot he faced, he let in. Granted, it was, like, a breakaway to Gensel, but still.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that. That was brutal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and on the topic of, like, generational players, Alex Ovechkin, how does he not beat Gretzky's goal total at this point? Like, he just needs to play a few more seasons. He needs to stay healthy, and I think he's got it. Like,
he'll have it by the end of the contract.
796 goals in 1,303 games. Like, I think he's only a few goals away from Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe is like a little over 800. I don't know exact amount, but definitely by the end of the season, he'll have.
He's like 10 away.
Yeah.
From Howe. Well,
but like,
it's awesome.
It's such a great era for hockey. Like, not only do we have all these young kids that are coming into the NHL and dominating, but like the players of old are still on the top of their game as well. Maybe not quite as good as they used to be. Like they're still producing offense. Like Ovechkin's there, Crosby there, like even Erik Karlsson, who's probably the best defenseman of last decade, or certainly right up there. Like he should have multiple Norris trophies at least. Like he's having a great season as well. It's just you look at the save percentage, like the goaltending isn't as great, but I also feel like it's just a combination of the goaltending isn't as great. Same with like just playing defense, and more teams I think we're slowly tilting towards more teams being a bit more risk averse and like actually playing like skilled forwards on the top instead of like, oh, we gotta balance it out with grinders and all that stuff. You know, like teams are starting to take more risks. We see teams using 5 forwards on a power play now. We see teams pulling their goalie with like more than 5 minutes left. You know, like it's slowly but surely. Like hockey is so far behind other sports, but like slowly but surely we're seeing these like developments where we're starting to make hockey more of a fun game, at least on the ice. I want to talk about Zdeno Chara's comments on the 2011 Canucks. I saw this. I forget which show or like podcast he was on, but he was basically so for the 2011 Cup Finals, the Vancouver Canucks went up 2-0 early on the Boston Bruins. They won the first 2 games, and Chara was basically saying how in like I think Game 3 and Game 4 in Boston, like during the warm-ups, they were like practicing how they were gonna lift the Stanley Cup. And like, listen, like I respect teams, players, athletes that like care about winning. You know, like want to win, because I feel like you don't get that far in your life without like having the mentality of going to win. But at the same time, if you go that far, like if you do that in private, whatever, but like if you're doing that on a practice rink and you can't back that up and win a Stanley Cup out being up 2-0 in the series, like you deserve to lose that. And I think Kevin Bieksa went back on the statements. He was part of the 2011 Canucks. And of course he's going to, but I totally believe that just sounds like something the 2011 Canucks would do, because like when they beat the Blackhawks that year, and like that was basically their Stanley Cup right there, and they made it all the way to the Cup. And I was cheering for the Canucks. I did want to see the Canucks win, but like back in hindsight, like the Canucks just kind of sound like that team that was a little too overconfident. Like the Bruins, that was kind of their rallying point, and they obviously like won, and not only won that series, but like they destroyed the Canucks. I think the Canucks' only other win was 1-0 in Game 5 because Luongo like shut the door. But then there was that like Luongo comment is like, "Oh, I'm not here to pump his tires on Tim Thomas," and then like they get shut out in Game 7 at home. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I totally believe that the Canucks would have done that. And then there's like
that team was full of a bunch of shitheads. Like, not a doubt in my mind. Sorry, that team was employing like Bieksa and Kessler and all them. Yeah. Oh yeah. Come on. And also like, even if it's not true, I could believe Zdeno Chara lying about that. Zdeno Chara wasn't like a saint on the ice. We all know that. Like, I really don't like. I believe all this shit. I'm gonna be honest. Like. Maybe there's not a lot of truth to what it was said, and like maybe it got stretched a little. But I believe there was at some point they did that because they were very fucking cocky after Game 2. I remember that.
Yeah,
they were cocky. So
there's definitely gonna be exaggerations on both sides, but like I believe that was a thing. Like
exactly, I agree. Like it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Let's just put it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you wouldn't be surprised. Like. It's not necessarily like 100% true. Like there's like we don't know if it's exactly true, but like if it was, you would 100% believe it.
Exactly.
And like not only that, but like there's been the stories of Mike Gillis, who was the Vancouver GM, who are like they again like it all goes back to that Game 2, where I think they won in overtime, and they were just two wins away from the cup, and then like Mike Gillis was like at a restaurant or something, and like popped the champagne, and like basically like as if they already won the cup already, like acting as if they didn't. It's again you want to see the confidence, but that's that Kobe Bryant quote. It's like are you happy? It's like no,
job's not finished.
Job's not done. The job's not finished, and that's so true. Like again, like. Be confident in yourself that you're a good athlete and that you're going to win, but at the same time, go out there, back it up. Because I remember, I think it was Game 3 Boston. Like the Canucks could have easily took a stranglehold on that series. I think Aaron Rome like took out Nathan Horton, and then everything just went fucking sideways for the Canucks. And then just a rough loss. And that really ever since then that Stanley Cup final, and that was a really good Canucks team. Like they've never gone back together. They've only won one playoff round, I think, excluding like the wild card series in the bubble. Like they beat the Blues, which I mean, good for them. Like beating the Blues, I respect them for doing that. But like other than that, they've been stuck in mediocrity, and it would have helped ease the pain if they won the cup that year. But like just I thought that was interesting to me, just kind of to see that, because the Bruins have been such a good team for a long time. And I remember when the Blackhawks played the Bruins in the cup final, like the Bruins, out of the three teams they faced, like Tampa and Philadelphia, like the Bruins probably to me were the best team they faced in the final. And when they were down 2-1 in that series in 2013, like I was pretty nervous. Like if they lost that Game 4 like that, I think we don't appreciate how big of a goal that Brent Seabrook overtime goal was in Game 4. Like that was huge. If they don't win that game, they don't win the cup that year.
Dude, the thing is,
but no.
I was gonna say the thing is the Hawks have, dare I say, been very lucky when they won their cups, because like besides like 2015, if Bishop and Johnson aren't hurt, they don't win that cup.
Yeah,
I really don't think they win against Tampa in 2015. Fuck, Andre Vasilevsky almost stole Game 4 as a 20-year-old against us.
Yeah,
like, and that's when you knew that kid was going to be a beast. He came in. No practice, no anything. Game 4.
Dude, he was like 20, I think. If that.
He was 20, and he almost stole that game. And if he probably played the whole series, they probably win. Like I think that was the way that team was playing. Boston, like you said, that was a battle in Game 4, like just back and forth. They had that 5-on-3.
That's an underrated cup final. Like Game 1 was a really good game too. Like when it went almost to the fourth overtime. Oh, I remember staying up for that game. I missed that.
Game 3 was just a shitter for the Hawks' perspective, but it was really defensive.
Yeah.
Game 5 was basically like that, but for the Hawks at home. Yeah, just great series, honestly. And then Game 6, everyone knows what happens in Game 6. So.
Oh yeah, we don't even have to go any further. But yeah, like Tampa Bay, like I was like super confident they're gonna beat Tampa Bay. Like even when they went down 2-1, I'm like they still got this, even though it's maybe a little bit closer than what we expected. It was gonna be 2010. Like when we watched when I watched the Cup final, I was 9 years old. Like I didn't really understand. Like I was just watching it for fun. Like you don't care if they're up or down. Like you're just whatever. But like once it got to 2013 and they were down 2-1 that series, I'm like, ooh, like Tuukka Rask was the goalie, and like they had Char on the blue. Like it really didn't even matter who else was on the defense. Like they had Zdeno Char. Like, and then you just look at the forward core, like their first line. I think they had like Marchand, Bergeron, and whoever the hell, it was like Sagan or Yager, and then they had that like Lucic, Krejci, and Horn like second. Like they were really good, and I'm still sometimes surprised they beat them because like that team was a wagon and. They really and like we saw how they dismantled the Penguins and like how they were actually able to score on Tuukka Rask. It was crazy to me. So, but it's not like the Blackhawks were a bad team. They were a pretty damn good team that year as well. So, well, yeah. That's all I really have to talk about. The last thing we can get into is the Twitter questions. We got a few Twitter questions that I just have to pull up right now, and we can wrap this up. So. This is from Tate, our good pal Tate. If the Hawks get the number 3 pick, are you taking Matvei Michkov or Leo Carlson?
Michkov. It's not even a question. Yeah. And honestly, if they're at that position, 3 might be the best spot they should be in. If they're not going to get 1, be 3. Because I'd rather them not have a choice at 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, take who's left. And
yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I just think you if Michkov's there, you take him. Like I don't care if Leo Carlson's over point a game in the SHL as a 17-year-old, which is extremely impressive. Don't get me wrong. It's just yeah, Michkov just does goofy shit with the puck, and that could be your Patrick Kane.
I feel with like Michkov, like if they do take him, Kyle Davidson like is long really they're really going for the long game.
And we kind of knew that with some of their picks already, like Rinzel and whatnot.
Yeah, I feel like, but like if you do see them go, like I think at this point, like if they do go number 2 and they go Fantilli over Michkov, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's a bit of like they shouldn't have done that. But like I feel if they do go Leo Carlson over Matvei Michkov, if they are in that position, I feel like that's a sign where maybe like okay, maybe they want to move things on a little more quicker. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. Next question. This is from Connor, aka Boomer. why did DeGrom go to Texas if he wants to win? Well, he got
money talks.
Shit ton of money. Well, not only did the Rangers like sign DeGrom this year, they signed Corey Seager the other offseason. They gave him a shit ton of money, and then they gave like Marcus Semien a bunch of money. Like they're trying to, again, like this goes back to what we're talking into the beginning of the podcast. It's like it's ridiculous the amount of money all these baseball teams shell out. Like the Mets couldn't sign DeGrom. Oh, no problem. We'll just get Verlander. We'll get Nemo. We'll get like pretty much everyone on the market for a lot of money. Oh, it's so crazy. And there's still like a lot of off season to go. Like the winter meetings just happened. There was like that one day where I think Trey Turner signed and then like Bogart signed right out. Like it's just a bunch of dominoes. Like we're starting to see things diminish. Like again, like the last probably high-end pitcher on the market is like Carlos Rodon, but then there's like kind of that second tier of starting pitching. So if you're a team that's looking for a elite pitcher, that's the guy to look for. But I think other than that, you're gonna probably be looking at trades. But yeah, this is from Patrick, and it's not really a question. He's just like, would it be bad to say if we got rid of Scott Boras, who I had to like look up, and apparently he's like baseball's like Pat Brisson. He has all the big names and like all the big contracts, like billions of dollars have been signed. It's pretty crazy, but yeah, that's it for the Twitter questions. Do you guys have anything else to add, or we can wrap this up?
Jason Robertson's on a fucking heater. I just wanted to point that out again.
Yeah,
because he's like he's on some silly pacing right now.
Yeah,
and then Connor McDavid's just gonna win he's literally gonna clean sweep the awards at this rate. Like Rocket, everything.
Insane what that guy can do.
Rocket, Lindsay, Art Ross, Hart. What else? What else am I missing? He's gonna get the Messier Trophy for leadership. Fuck it. Have it. Oh God, just I want that like picture of him with like 7 trophies in June, like when Price had all of them.
Yeah,
like, you got it. I gotta see it.
A Stanley Cup to his name and a Conn.
Yeah, and a Conn Smythe. Just get it all. Get it all.
Yeah, and they're good. They're both McDavid and Drysdale are good enough where they could just. Well, they pretty much did that last year. They just happened to run into the wagon avalanche.
The Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, but like, how long have we been saying with the Oilers? Just get decent goaltending, which they are at the moment with Stuart Skinner. That's so funny to me. Not only in Edmonton but in Calgary, like both their starting goalies are like what were supposed to be their backups, and their goalies that they signed free agency are just shitting the bed right now.
Right. It's just like the duality of goaltending in the NHL. It's really what it is. And also it just proves that like never extend your goalies. No. Unless they're like good.
And that's why
why
I was so thankful for Crawford, even though he was never like
consistent.
My guy, like consistent, like 920 goalie.
917, like just above league average, which is what you want.
Yeah, and he shined in the playoffs and won 2 Stanley Cups. And I still say this
should have a Conn Smythe.
Yeah, and Patrick Kane himself even said that. So I don't know. Just looking at the West, like it's so wide open. Like Colorado is ravaged with injuries right now. They're 14-10-2. Winnipeg, I still don't know about. Like Connor Hellebuyck's very good. They're very top heavy, but I just don't know. Dallas, I'm looking at. I think Dallas is legit though. Like
Dallas is legit.
Yeah.
St. Louis stinks.
Yeah, we love to see it, but not like bad to enough to the point where they're gonna get a top.
And I don't think Minnesota looks too bad right now. They're starting to figure it out. Yeah. Like Kaprizov's on a heater. Like Kalen Addison's been a really nice story this year. Mm-hmm. They got Boldy's actually still doing like that ridiculous pace that he was on last year. Like it's not the fluke, kind of like Lindell. Lindell was a little bit of a fluke. It looks like he's kind of regressed a little this year, but Boldy's still on a tear. So it's just good stuff to see. And also it looks like Flowers doing his thing again.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Vegas, I don't know if they're a legit cup contender, but they're definitely going to make the playoffs. And I don't think they're going to be an easy team to face. The LA Kings, I really like their forwards and their defense, but their goaltending is.
They really put Peterson on waivers. Like,
because it was that 9-8 LA Seattle game, and I don't know if he played the whole game. Like
he didn't.
He didn't play the whole game.
I'm pretty sure Quick got in at one point. Like
he did.
Okay, well, yeah,
brutal.
But it sounds like he's doing good down there. So.
Yeah, just get him some confidence, like Byfield. Like
Byfield's like has like something like 8 goals in his last 7 games. Like, gotta be patient with some.
Just gotta give him confidence, dude. Like, look at what's going on in the Rangers. Like, they finally put Lafreniere and Kakko on the top line, and magically they start scoring. It's crazy how that works.
When you give them more than 12 minutes, they actually do well. What?
When you put them with like not fucking Filipino, they're great.
Ryan Carpenter, what?
Or Barkley Goodrow.
Yeah.
Listen, I think everybody knows how much I fucking love Cal Peterson, but I do think setting him down is the right move. Just to get the confidence back because he just straight up not had a good year.
100%. Because we all know what confidence can do to a goalie. Like it just changes everything. And once it's magical when making a couple saves will do. Like, I just hope he can turn it around.
Well, that's like sports in general. It's like all I need is 1 goal, and then the rest will come. And all I need to make is 1 save, and then the rest will come. It is about confidence, definitely. And like Cal Peterson, like it's not like he's been a bad goalie his like career. Like you look at his like save percentage, it was like 920, then 915, then like 905, and it just like dipped down to like 880 this year. Like he's clearly got the talent there, like to be at least a league average goalie, which is really what all you can hope for at this point in time, especially for a team like LA and just all the scoring that's going on in the NHL.
Yeah, I agree.
And how about
gotta hope? Yeah, gotta hope it gets back to. Just hope it gets back to him. Like that's all I hope.
Also, our Kraken are doing pretty well.
Hey, they're winning again tonight. Yeah, they were on like a 7-game win streak.
They're beating Florida, and they're not beating bad teams. Like they're hanging in there.
Oh yeah, they like Martin Jones is giving them saves, which is awesome. Grubauer's been very good. He had a great game against Washington. They just couldn't pull up. They couldn't get the goals.
Yeah.
They're a fun watch right now, man. And like they got Wright some confidence. He's gonna go play at the World Juniors, get more confidence, and then probably come back and play. Burakovsky's been a great signing for them. I mean, not Wenberg. Bjorkstrand's been a little slow, but like they're getting depth scoring from everyone at this point. Like I saw Evolving Wild throw in Jared McCann as one of his hard finalists, which I thought was hilarious.
Of course.
But he is playing extremely well. So I mean, it's fair enough. Like Yanni Gord's playing very well. Jaden Schwartz is playing well. Eberle's still Eberle. Like they just what we thought was going to happen last year is happening. Where it's like they got a bunch of guys who can just put goals in the back of the net. Like they're not going to do it every night, but they have enough guys to where like someone's going to be the hero every night.
And apparently Martin Jones has found his old form as well.
Dude, it's good to see too because he hasn't been himself since like 2018. I want to say it's been a while.
Yeah.
Like,
I would love to see an Edmonton Seattle first round.
Oh yeah, that would just be lightning. Oof.
And we ain't talking Tampa Bay. Anyways, I think that's about it. So I don't really have anything else to add. If you are a listener to this show, click the subscribe button and smash the like button, and also turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of our new podcasts. And if you're listening to this via audio, whether that be on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, give us a 5-star rating, leave us a good review, and like follow us and all the things so you don't miss the latest episodes. So yeah, thank y'all for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace out, y'all.